What's going on, y'all? This is the Face Mask Podcast. My name is John Alsace, and today I wanted to get into one of my favorite players at the tight end position as far as sleepers go going into 2021, and that's Adam Trautman. New Orleans' second-year tight end. If you remember, the Saints moved up to pick this guy with the 105th pick, and this was in the third round, and they traded the 130th pick, the 169th pick, the 203rd pick, and the 244th pick to be able to have the rights to the 105th pick to select Trautman. So they traded 4 picks in the 2020 draft to go and get this guy before shutting down the rest of their 2020 draft. They loved this guy so much they were willing to sacrifice the rest of their draft just to land a tight end prospect that wasn't going to be the tight end one on their team that year. And in 2021, a year later, they lose Jared Cook, who was their tight end one last year, and Josh Hill in free agency. If that's not an endorsement just based off of how things played out from when he was drafted to right now, I don't know what is. But if you need some more numbers to convince you, I got the numbers, so let's get into them a little bit. In 2020, Adam Trautman played 384 snaps, on which he got 15 receptions for 171 yards and 1 touchdown, as the Saints' tight end 2. Their tight end 1, Jared Cook, played 459 snaps with 37 receptions for 504 yards and 7 touchdowns. Pretty good numbers. He was a low-end tight end 1 for long stretches of the season, as he has been for the past few years of his career. And then Josh Hill played 358 snaps for 8 receptions, 46 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Garrett Griffin, I don't know who that is, he played a meaningless 86 snaps. Like I said before, Jared Cook and Josh Hill, both out of this team. So their lineup looks like Adam Trautman, Garrett Griffin. They should be signing another free agent. But the only free agents at the tight end position, they're Jesse James, Tyler Eifert, Trey Burton, and those are the top end of the free agency spectrum right now. So even though they might bring in a guy like this, Thaddeus Moss was just cut by the Washington football team. They could go out and get a guy like him. They'd still top out at the 358 snaps that Josh Hill got last season. And that's, again, they could bring in a rookie, Pat Freiermuth, Brevin Jordan, somebody like that. Still, I don't think he's topping out at anything more than 358 snaps, especially if he's a rookie. So even with all that, if he gets some more competition in, Trautman should be in line for something around what his snaps were last year, plus what Jared Cook's stats were last year as far as snaps goes, snap counts. That would be 843 snaps, which would have put him, as far as how many snaps he played, ahead of guys like Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Robert Tonyan, all who finished firmly within the top 10 at their position. And just for reference, Travis Kelce, he played 880 snaps. Darren Waller played 992 snaps. And Logan Thomas played above 1,000 snaps last year. But if he was projected to be at 843 snaps, he'd absolutely have the workload to be able to perform as a tight end 1. And that's not even taking into account that the Saints are losing Emmanuel Sanders to the Bills. He got 61 receptions for 726 yards last year with 5 touchdowns. So Adam Trautman could see even more passing production thrown his way, considering he's only really playing with Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, bunch of guys. Now you look at what he has to work with from a quarterback standpoint. You got Jameis, and I think Jameis is going to end up being the QB1 for that team for the majority of the season, outside of a few gadget plays a game. He's playing with Sean Payton after a year in that offense to learn that offense from Drew Brees. and a year after getting his double vision fixed, which was a storyline going into the offseason before getting signed by the Saints. And the last time we saw this guy play, in a full season, he was the quarterback 3 in fantasy, despite losing Evans for 4 games at the end of the season and throwing 30 interceptions that season. So I'm still relatively high on Jameis. So let's look back at the Jameis tight end connection throughout history, just to get a little bit of reference. In 2016, Cameron Brate was the TE6 when playing with Evans and Cecil Shorts, a wide receiver 1 and a nobody. He was the TE6, based largely off of touchdown production. In 2017, Cameron Brate was the TE8, based off again touchdown production, red zone production. Howard, who was a rookie that season, was the TE17, and they were sharing the field with Evans and Godwin. So Jameis was able to produce a top 10 tight end with 2 wide receiver 1s on the field. In 2018, O.J. Howard takes the front seat. He's the TE10, and Brate was the TE18. And that's again, sharing the field with Evans and Godwin. Now we're going to skip the 2020 season because obviously he didn't play a full season. He only played a few games in there. But in 2021, I think, with Jameis at the helm, Trautman should be able to finish between the tight end 6, which is the ceiling of what Brate got to, and the tight end 10, based off of snap share percentage, lack of tight end competition on the roster, lack of cap space to make a splash, because we didn't get into this, but the Saints have the most cap space in the NFL right now. They also don't expect to be playing with a bunch of playmakers outside of whoever's already on the roster. That's Thomas, Kamara, and then Trautman. When you take into account that Jameis is going to be the quarterback for the majority of the season, a guy who loves to chuck it down the field, you have an elite number 1 wide receiver in Thomas, taking double coverage away. You have an extra spy on Kamara in the backfield. And this should lead to a bunch of chunk yards for Trautman in the middle of the field and in the end zone. I just backed this up by buying him in a Dynasty League commissioned by my co-host Nick. So you can go talk to him if you doubt me. I went out and bought this guy because I believe in him. And I think you guys should too. Go get Adam Trautman in all formats because he's undervalued in every single one. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I should have gone all in and traded for Trautman like I did? Or do you think I'm stupid? Do you think everything that I've just said within the past 10 minutes is complete garbage? I hope you don't think that, but it's within the realm of possibility. So put your thoughts in the comments section below. Hope you like the content. Thank you for listening.